Hey, how we doing? My name is Dillon Carpenter and I'm the creative producer for digital media here at the AMA.
And I'm Kyle Jaracz. I'm the art director and production manager here for the magazines.
And today we're going to be looking at Horizon Hobby's new lineup of blade scimitars. And I've got the Scimitar 170.
And obviously I've got the 215 here.
The Blade Scimitar 170 is a 4-inch ready-to-fly quad. So that means everything that you need to get out and flying comes in the box. It comes with a Spectrum DXE transmitter, comes with 2 batteries. In my package it came with 2 thrust 1000 milliamp hour 4S batteries. It's got the 1407 2820 kV motors, all powered by a 4-in-1 ESC, Betaflight flight controller with Betaflight OSD, and it also has a selectable power output video transmitter. You can do 25 milliwatt, 200, or even 600 milliwatt for the long range stuff. Like I said, it comes with everything needed in the box, including these cool little propeller guards that just snap on and off really easy. You just give it a twist and they come right off. You can replace them just like that. Now, a little trick that I've thought about is if you're looking to hone on your line of sight skills, a nifty thing that you could do is take off 2 of the blade guards, and then you've got an easy way to tell what the front and the rear of your craft is just by snapping those on and off. Of course, once you get comfortable with it, you can take off the prop guards altogether and fly unprotected. Otherwise, it's got a 6-light LED addressable on the back, so you can pick your color. You can pick your the way it lights up. You can make it go with the throttle or change color mid-air. And it's, like I said, it's got everything needed in the package to get you up and flying.
All right, this is the Scimitar 215 version. A little bit bigger, it's a 5-inch, which is the measurement of the prop here. This thing really does rip pretty well. It's got customizable LEDs, runs Betaflight on an F4 processor. And just so you know, the ESCs are actually arm mounted, which is tried, true, fairly traditional, and it works pretty well. That way, if you blow out one ESC or an arm, it's really easy to replace them without having to replace the entire all-in-one ESC. So I actually kind of like that they're on the arm. You can really easily adjust the tilt angle on the camera. For some of those people that are really fast, there might not be quite enough tilt on there, although I think you can adjust it a little bit more inside to better suit your flying style. Comes with a circular polarized antenna, right hand, right out of the box, works really well. And it's definitely an upgrade from any kind of a dipole that you might find in some of the other comparable models. It's running the Thrust 2206 2450 motors, and you know, it's not the newest thing on the market, but once again, it works well. So no complaints from me on that. All right, I think we're going to start off with the Scimitar 215 here. Give it a whirl and we'll see how she flies.
Your air is clear whenever you're ready to go.
Thanks, Dillon. Now, one of the things that Preston actually mentioned when we were flying together, he said, you know, you ought to try and increase the tilt of your camera angle, because he was watching me kind of bounce back and forth a little bit, you know, with changing in altitude. And so it's a little bit interesting for me to try and fly it like that with that big of an angle, but it does keep you more level in terms of your altitude adjustments.
It helps get your thrust behind you too when you're trying to make those turns. So yeah, it's less of a flat thrust, so you're not drifting through the turn.
Yep, for sure. It's just a matter of getting used to it at that point.
Yeah. It looks like it's got some pretty decent punch when you go into your straightaways and when you're taking when you're coming out of your turns.
Definitely. And I mean, the 20 amp ESCs, when I first saw that spec, I was kind of like, well, maybe, I guess, okay. But honestly, I've been putting it through the paces as much as I can, and definitely Preston, when he was out, ran it through pretty well, and they held up great.
When you're talking about Preston, he also goes through as Deluxe 312.
That's right.
I think he said he was like top 30 in the nation, I think.
Super legit,
when he was here for IO.
Real nice guy. He's actually I asked him to write a little bit about this aircraft in the review. And so check out that written review. You can see his commentary.
But yeah, it seems really nimble, and it seems pretty sturdy in the air.
Oh yeah, right out of the box, the tune was pretty awesome. I really didn't adjust it at all. And that's one of the really selling points for me on this thing. I don't have to build this thing for hours on end. I don't have to do a ton of, coding to get everything tweaked and tuned correctly. It's ready to go, like within, 30 minutes of buying the thing. You can have this thing up in the air and having a great time.
What do you say we put mine up now?
Let's see how it does. I haven't seen you fly it yet, so I'm excited.
All right, we'll see how it does in the wind.
Now, have you flown it a little bit with and without the prop guards?
This is actually probably the first time I've flown it with prop guards on.
Okay.
I flew it a little bit line of sight with the prop guards on just to get the pictures and things. But I took it around the track before we started rolling just to get used to it. And it's actually not much of a difference.
I was going to ask if you're picking up any difference. I didn't know if they'd crab the wind any.
It kites a little bit, but it's not a huge noticeable difference.
All right.
I did do a little bit of tuning on this, mostly because it was tuned for prop guards. Mm-hmm. So when I was flying without the prop guards, so there's a little bit of prop wash and stuff that I was dealing with.
Yeah.
And with Betaflight OSD, it's just easy enough to go in there and tune that out while you're out flying.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, I think we've seen here that both of these offerings from Horizon Hobby, definitely let you get out and just start flying right out of the box. They have, definitely a niche for each one of them. I think you mentioned that yours was kind of more suited to a racer. Mm-hmm. Freestyle pilots definitely could use that, but that's definitely made for getting out on the track. Yeah,
I mean, part of the problem with that would be trying to mount some kind of a HD camera or something. Like, you're really not going to be able to do that very well with this pod in particular.
Right.
Now, I guess you could try and fit in like one of the run cam split offerings, but to be quite honest with you, the stack is pretty tight in there. I don't think you could actually do that. But if you're just doing it for yourself and DVR footage, if you want to share that a little bit, like, totally fine. And it can be a nice option.
Now, something I do notice about yours is that your props are running reverse. Mm-hmm. So usually the props spin in towards, and in my experience, they usually spin in towards the FPV camera. But these are actually spinning outwards away from them, which is what we kind of refer to as a reverse prop. Did they come like that?
Came with it that way. And that's how I set up all my other 5-inch quads. And I was impressed.
Becoming the norm now. It used to be kind of the outlier, the reverse prop. So that shows the attention to detail that went into to researching these and putting these on the market.
Yeah, that attention to detail. And I mean, like, so when this came out of the box, this light blue was reflected in the props as well. It's reflected in the anodization of the nuts even, and the base for these, naked bottom motors is what they call these. And it's really cool to see, like, all those details go into it. Now, of course, and you can read the review, there's a few things I would like to see maybe done a little bit differently, but some of that comes down to A, personal preference, and B, there's only so much sometimes you can do.
I think as far as ready-to-fly craft go, these are really kind of the end-all be-all as far as what's out on the market now.
Yeah.
Ready-to-fly flyers have kind of gotten a bad rap, I think, before, and it has pushed a lot of people to really feel like they have to build their own gear and source their own parts, just because the offerings before weren't as well researched as these might be. This shows you that Horizon Hobby is definitely taking steps towards becoming more in tune with the people who they're selling these products to, and it shows they're listening and following the trends. Yeah. So I think with these, the ready-to-flyer drones have kind of...
You're not going to be at a huge disadvantage at this point. You can get something solid and have a really great time with it, and even be competitive. So
and not have to go through the build process and picking parts and soldering and learning, and you might have to replace something down the road, but that's all part of it. That comes with
part of the fun.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna have some fun with this, and I'm sure you're gonna have some fun with that too. So, I'm sure you guys will too. So thanks for joining us as we reviewed the Horizon Hobby Blade Scimitar 170 and 215.